are, Blink-22, week 4, and this week I'm gonna go ahead and explore a little bit about kind of my family and some about living through a long life. I want to learn a lot about that, and to join me here I have my grandpa. All right, and your name's Stan Rafach. Would you just like to introduce yourself to the camera out there? When you were born?
November 12th, 1935.
I was born, for reference, November 12th, 1998. So we do have the same birthday, actually. Just a few years apart.
3 years apart.
Just a few decades. All right, so that makes you then 85 right now?
85.
Wow, that's a long life. And that's kind of what I want to learn a bit about.
It has been a long life.
That's kind
I
of.
never thought I would live that long.
Yeah.
People years ago considered the 60s to be ancient.
Really?
70s, oh my God. But now, my Uncle Johnny is going to be 100 next year.
Really?
He's 99 now.
All right, so just to start off with, kind of tell me about, like, do you remember a lot about things from your childhood?
Well, in the old days when we were younger, we didn't have many of the things you now have. We had no TVs, that's for sure. And basically all your entertainment comes from going to the movies and radio. And you listen to all the old programs, whatever you were interested in. You like news, you listen to news. And there weren't that many sports teams, just the Cubs, Sox. There were no Bulls, and may not have been any Hawks. Probably my best friend was Hank, that I met in the post office when I got out of high school. Well, he was 11 years older than me, so he would have been 96 now, but he died a couple of years ago. Then I got married later on, but I went to Holy Trinity High School and Holy Innocents Grade School. So I went to Catholic schools for 12 years. And then I went to Bright Junior College for a 2-year program, and I graduated from there. Got drafted in 1959. Spent 2 years there.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I stayed in the States because, well, you had no choice wherever your orders told you to go. When you first get drafted, you sign up downtown, and then they took some tests for you, and you had to write out some tests. And then we took a train and we went to Leonard Wood, which is most, if not all, Chicago draftees went. And they kept me in Leonard Wood for my second 8 weeks of training, and got to be a personnel administrative specialist. It was basically taking care of books and payroll.
Okay. Yeah, so kind of overall, what would you say has kind of been the strangest or the craziest thing that you've noticed about, like, all this time passing? I mean, 85 years is a long time.
Well, definitely. Electronically, TV sets, I think we probably got our first TV set when I was still home before we got married, and probably was 12.5-inch screen, which at that time was pretty normal. Now they go fill the whole wall with a TV set, so it's a little different. And when they had the tube TVs, like I have right there, it's been suffice while it worked, and it's been working well. We got that when Grandma was alive, and you just saw this for many years. She passed away in 2006. That was a sad time then, and it's still a sad time.
All right, I'm gonna go down the line of a few questions here that I answered myself in the week 3 video. I answered a few questions here, and so I kind of want to ask you similar questions. So throughout all your life now, what would you say is your happiest memory?
Well, the happiest moments is when I got married and had the three girls and saw them grow up. Then they all got married and had their children. It's glad to say everybody was healthy, and they're still healthy.
Okay. Now it's kind of talking about Thinking back to when you were little, what do you remember about what you wanted to be when you were little versus kind of what you wound up doing?
I still don't know. No, I really had no certain things that I wanted to do. I just went along and see how everything went, and I finished high school. It was a general education, nothing specific. And then I went to Wright Junior College and took mostly business classes in accounting. But I didn't follow up on that with the work. Because Hank was, as I said, we were always together, and he said, this job isn't for you. You should go and get a job or get an interview with Banker's Life. And he told me where to go, and I went there, and while I was at Bankers, we did claims. Everything was pencil and paper in those days. And then they all taught us how to use the computers. And that's where I learned most of what I knew, because as far as high school and college, we had I had no computers and no classes that we were using computers. Mm-hmm. And so that was a big change. I had a computer, and I don't have one now, but I don't really need it. And I retired in 2000, year 2000. There was all these expectations that there was going to be a great calamity once when it crossed over into 2000, and they were working on it for 10 years, trying to prepare for it, and nothing ever happened that affected us. And we had to have somebody working on the actual day, January 1st of 2000, to make sure that the systems were working. And they asked people, you can get time and a half, and nobody wanted to work it, so that made me the choice. So that's why I worked that New Year's Day. That was 2000, and I retired probably in 2001.
What would you say over the course of your life would be on the one hand your biggest regret, on the other hand your best decision?
Well, I can't really say it was a big regret going there, because it paid well enough, even though we never got rich on it. All the family grew up, and they all got to their colleges, they got their jobs, they got married, and we still made it. So regrets? I can't. Everybody said you should have followed through with my accounting that I had in college. I never did, even though I was dealing with numbers and claims and stuff. But it turned out to be a nice place, wasn't too far from home. No, I don't have that many regrets. Pretty much went along the way, and can't say this was the job that when I was a youngster, that this is what I'm going to do, but just came to pass, and it just got lucky because Hank is the one who gave me the opportunity to take this interview. When they accepted me, I stayed there for I think 39 years.
Wow.
So most of my working days.
Yeah. Would you say what would you say then would be your best decision that you've made?
No, I thought of some people were always switching jobs, but I don't like making too many changes. And I was content and paying all our bills and the stuff that I knew what I was doing, and I was basically happy there. I got to meet a lot of friends, and while we were there, we got to do other interests. They had bowling leagues, we had volleyball leagues. In bowling, our high school, which is unusual, they had a 8-lane bowling alley in the basement.
Oh, wow.
So we had a bowling league in the school. So I joined that in my 3rd year of high school, and I continued bowling through work, because they had a league, and did a lot of recreational bowling just with my brother. My dad sometimes bowled with us.
Good. All right. So the question that I answered last time was, what has to happen in your life to consider yourself a success? So instead for you is, what do you look at as being successful in life? What do you think defines that for you or anybody else?
Well, it's just doing well in whatever you are doing. If you're in school, you hope you get good grades. And if you get a job, you hope you do well on your job so that you get raises or promotions. And you're happy in your job. It would help, but there are many people who aren't happy and they gripe all the time, but some leave and some stay there. So if you're contented where you're staying, and what you're doing, you should do it. And if you don't like it and you feel not being treated fairly, hopefully you can find something that you can do better. I don't know what the job opportunities are because I didn't have much choice going in the Army, and other than bankers, that was basically the jobs I had my whole life.
Okay. So how do you recommend to other people when they experience setbacks, or when they experience when they struggle with maybe who they are, or whatever flaws that they might have with themselves? Like, what do you recommend to people to just be themselves?
Well, multiple setbacks when I was young, because probably when I was in maybe second grade, I had an accident. I had actually it turned out to be my brother, but we were probably just playing around, and Grandma wasn't there, and Grandpa wasn't there, and I must have did something and aggravated him, and he picked up a stick and threw it at me, and he got me in the eye, and I've been basically blind since then.
In one of your eyes?
No, left eye. They still took me in the draft, so put me closer to the front so you see better. Whatever pops up in life, you have to just take care of it, one way or another, and hope you get it solved with nobody getting hurt, and continue on with your life. You hope all my daughters and grandchildren all have good jobs and good lives ahead of them. That's what I wish for.
When it comes to thinking about all the different experiences you've had over the course of your life, whether it be some of the more important ones like getting married or having kids or seeing your grandkids and all that, versus things that aren't so much like your happiest memories, what would you say is how you look back on your life? What do you want people to take from, like, what do you want to live beyond that?
Well, what to remember me is being fair and being nice to everybody that I came across. I never really had too much problems with anybody, and I'm not one to create a stir, and I just hope I'm remembered as being, he was a nice guy. And I think I am, and I hope they thought so too.
What advice do you have for me as I move forward into these next stages of my life? I'm about to graduate, as you know. I'm about to start into the workforce, and I'm possibly like looking to settle down and looking to all that. These new aspects of my life are like just on the way. Yeah, like, what advice would you give for me from your experience,
well,
and for anybody else that's my age as well?
You've gotten good grades wherever you go, so I have no problem with wherever you go, you're going to do well. And I hope you picked a field that you like, and you sound like you do. And I just hope you get into a job that you feel comfortable in, and has a successful life, and if you get married, have children, live a normal life. There's no doubt that if you got, in modern days now, people who were working at a decent job, they get paid far more than I got while I was working.
Do you remember what you initially were getting paid when you were working?
I probably started at, working for a fruit stand in Kaplan's. I worked all day Saturday, 1 day a week, and I got $10 for, I think, for the 10 or 11 hours of work. And then later, when I started off at Banker's Life, only $1.90 an hour. And the post office, when I first started, I was earning $5,450 a year. I just hope everybody can find something that they like to do. If not, just have to grin and bear it. Changing jobs, some people enjoy them and they do it all the time. I didn't believe in changes. And I was content to stay where I'm at. If I was comfortable, then that's what I did.
How important do you think it is to make the most out of your time and to use your time well? This whole project is kind of revolved around me trying to make sure that I'm not letting time pass by in the blink of an eye.
Number one thing is to save enough money for your retirement so that you can do what you want when you do it. And you don't want to make a lot of money during your whole life, and then at the end, you're walking in a bread line. You want to live comfortably and enjoy life whoever you're with, and stay healthy. As my father always said, good health is the main thing in life. And it's turning out to be true.
Do you feel like time passed by a lot quicker than you thought it would?
Well, it's passing by fine, but I never thought I'd be living to 85, and who knows what's in store for me. It's nice to see Johnny's 99, and well, Grandma was 93, I believe, and my father died young. He died, he was only, he probably, I don't know if he collected one Social Security check, because, and I don't think you can collect earlier in those days. And he died, it was probably 65. And so he might have got one check if he had it. So you want to live in comfort in your old age, to have a nice home, and live in a nice neighborhood, and enjoy life. Either for you and the family, or whoever you're with. Some people have made far, far, far more money than I have, and they may have nothing. They have to live that way, and they're stuck with it. You sow what you reap, or you reap what you sow, something like that.
Do you feel that you made good use of your time when you were younger?
Oh yeah, basically while I was working, I worked whatever overtime they offered to make more money for the kids and the family. In the Army, while I was in there, I got drafted, so you do what you have to do, then you make the best of it. That's why I said while I was in there, I did 2 seasons of bowling and 2 years in flag football, and tried to keep busy when our free time. And I got to see some places in the area. Some friends of mine had cars, and we would drive to Washington, D.C., or how many other places around there. That was 1959 when the Sox won the pennant. They took the soldiers, or whoever wanted to go to Washington to see the Sox play. And I went with them, and it was nice and enjoyed.
Is there anything else that you still want to make sure that you do or that you try in your lifetime?
No, I guess it's nice to see. I only have Noah, who's going to graduate and get a good job and enjoy what he's doing.
I might not have a graduation.
They just says goodbye.
Yeah, pretty much. Here's your diploma. Actually, they mailed that to you.
They mailed it to you? Well, that's a shame after spending 4 years and all those time and hours and money to get a piece of paper that's mailed to you. Yeah. And not even doing it with your fellow graduates. It almost doesn't seem fair, but it's the safest way to do it, I guess, if the virus is still around. Safety is first, whether it's sports or business or schooling. Above all, everybody should try and stay healthy. Take precautions to save what you got and save for the future.
Save for the future. Although some people save up a lot of money for themselves in the future, and then, like you said, some people don't even make it to 60, and then they just saved up all this money that they never got to spend.
Well, you hope if they have family that they'll just save it for the grandkids and your daughters or sons. Somebody will make use out of it, and the fact that you don't have to deprive yourself of everything while you're saving for retirement age. You can still enjoy life pretty close to the way you want it, unless you want it to be too extravagant, and then it's your own fault. Because you have a chance to save while you're making it. And if you don't, there's only one person you can complain to.
So where do you think that balance is between saving, focusing entirely on the future, and being extravagant? Where's that? What do you say is that balance point?
the savings and amounts they'll vary with everybody. Some like living extravagant, and some would rather have something nice and cozy and live with what they make and put aside what they think they'll need for the future.
So you don't think there's no best way to do it?
No. It's whatever the life you live it's your choice, and if you're extravagant or if you're a miser or somewhere in between, you gotta live with it.
You just gotta make the choices you make and then
Do the best you can with what you have when you have it, as long as it's going to be. It's a shame that this virus is going around. Thousands of people have died because of it, and there's probably thousands of stories of some saved and some spent and some just got caught and passed away. It's a shame that he couldn't have decent burials, but again, it's afraid of health.
Well, here's an interesting question. What do you think happens after death? I know you still go to church and everything. Do you?
Well, I've been raised as a Catholic, and there is you have to believe that there is a hereafter, and you want to live a decent life, and so that you can either get to heaven or you get to hell, or you can get to whatever is left. Because I don't think nobody knows what happens after. They can guess about it and hope for the best, but you never know.
Do you put much thought into that, like after death and everything like that?
No, I've said when it happens, it's going to happen. I'm sure the daughters will. So I didn't know if they're going to have too much to say about it. If the undertaker just takes you away, and if they do any embalming, which I don't even know they do that, and put you in the ground, and it's up to your soul to wherever you're going to wind up.
Do things like that scare you, or does it not worry you at all?
Well, you're always worried about it. You just hope you did a good enough job or had led a nice life that it's going to be happier than somebody who didn't. And if there's any hereafter that takes care of the so-called evil people.
I feel like there's only so much we can control about like what happens in the physical world. Even if we are in heaven or if we're in hell, like there's not much we can say about what happens after that.
No.
So I feel like it's just, I was just kind of asking what you want to happen for everybody else, what you want.
Well, I hope everybody continues to have a good, healthy life, and have enough earnings so they can live comfortably. And number one, to be good people, and to treat people nice, and hope they do the same for you. Nothing gained by being evil or mean.
Well, all right. I think that'll about do it. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. I think we've learned a lot here today. I want to thank you, Grandpa, for coming and taking your time out to explain this all to us. And, well, this has been Blink 22 Week 4, and I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.